Good afternoon, everyone. Everyone is requested to join. It's already 1:51. We'll be starting now. Okay. Uh, Good afternoon. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Professor K.C. Badapunda. He was an ex-managing director, Fishwed, Odisha, and he is at present consultant guest faculty for BFSC, MFSC students, author, poet, speaker, and columnist. He is a fisher scientist who served for 37 years in the State Department of Fisheries, Odisha. After retirement, he is a guest faculty in PG department for MFSC students.
Authored 15 books so far, 10 in fisheries science and English, and 5 in Odia language. 6 of the books are adopted as complete textbook for fisheries graduates in various Indian universities. All his books are available on Amazon, Flipkart, and etc. Published more than 30 scientific papers in reputed local and national magazines. He writes columns for daily Odia newspapers regularly.
Being a poet, he has been felicitated by Saraswat Gitti Kavi Samman from the Saraswat Samaj Odisha, Basant Ashar Samman from the Citizen Committee Odisha, Kabir Prativa Samman from the Godavrish Sahitya Sansad, and so on. He extends consultancy services for fisheries projects also.
His present field of research is an ancient history of India, since he never believed the fairy tale of our Puranas, being a man of scientific temper without scientific bias in the description. And now he will be giving talk on ancient scientific heritage of India. Please go ahead, sir.
Sir, you may continue.
Uh, am I audible, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir,
Yes.
you are audible.
Respected uh, faculties of IIIT Allahabad, Prayagraj, especially Professor Nitesh Bharadwaj and Professor Ranjit Singh, who has brought this my talk into reality. So at the outset, on my behalf, I will welcome all of you to the topic allotted me, that is the ancient heritage of India, ancient scientific heritage of India. And it is funny, first we will discuss about India, you know. It is funny to note that India is perhaps the only country in the world having more than half a dozen names. Can you cite the name of any country which is having half a dozen names? I think the answer will be no. India is called as India in English. It is called Hind, Hindustan in Jambudip, Aryabhat, Ilabhat, Bharat, and Bharatvarsh. 8 different names are there. So, being students of science, you should know that why so many names for a country. The only reason for this is India is having the oldest civilization of the world, and the human habitation, culture, civilization, etc., are lakhs of years old. So during this vast time space, India has been named by many differently. Now coming from India, why India? You know, India nurtured the oldest civilization of the world on the Indus Valley. You know, we call it Sindhu, and foreigners they could not pronounce Sindhu properly, so they call it Indus. So the civilization is also called as Indus Valley civilization. And from this Indus, it became gradually Hindu, and from Hindu, India has come. This is one region. Second region, in olden days, India was the only producer and exporter of indigo color. You know indigo color. In Vivgyor, indigo is a prominent color. So indigo color was only produced, cultivated, produced and exported from India. So for two regions, one is for Indo river or Indus river, that is Sindhu, and second is for export of indigo color. Be astonished to know, if you do some research, except in India, none other Indian are accustomed to no color. They were wearing either white or pale colored clothes. India is the country who taught colors to the world. So for indigo and Indus River, we got the name India. Now coming to Hindustan and Hind, country of Indus or indigo are called as Hindu. So gradually Hindu became Hindu, and even our religion, which is actual the name is Sanatana Dharma, is called as Hindu Dharma. But actually the name of our Dharma is Sanatana Dharma, which has been devised lakhs of years ago. So this Hindustan and Hind has come from this Hindu or Indus River. From Hindu it became Hindu, and gradually it became Hind or Hindustan. Now next is Jambu Dipa. It is told if you do some sacrificial sacred ceremony, a sankalpa you must be knowing. Om Vishnu 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 Adya Jambudipe Bharat Khande Uttar Pradesh Khande Sri Amuk Deva Sarvana, like that. So why this is Jambudipa? India is not an island. Dipa means island. India is not an island at all. Rather it is a cape. Cape Comorin, we tell that Kumarika Antaripa is called as Cape Comorin. So why a cape has been turned as island? The reason is, by research you can know there is a theory called as the Gondwana land theory. Gondwana theory tells that there was a very vast continent called as Gondwana, the native of Gond tribe. This has broken into pieces, and South America, Africa, Australia, New Zealand, India, all these are formed. This has happened 5 crores of years back. But about 50 million years ago, the portion of India, portion of Gondwana land, that collided against the Eurasia plate, by which the land mass at the point of collision is raised above the ground level, which we call now as Himalaya or Pamir of Tibet. So our sages know that previously India was an island. That's why this Gondwana land island was named as Jambudipa in Sanskrit, and still it is continuing in our Sanskrit literature. Now last we will come to Bharat or Bharata Varsha. Why Bharat? If I will ask, anybody and everybody in India will tell that it is after King Bharata. But it is not true at all. Why? In Rigveda, Rigveda was written 14,500 BC. In Rigveda it is written Brahmidang Rakhyati Bharata Janang, the meaning of which, Brahma, please save the people of India. So 14,500 years ago there was no Bharata. In Vishnu Purana written in 3100 BC by Vyasadeva, उत्तरं च समुद्रस्य हिमाद्रिश्चैव दक्षिणं वर्ष तद् भारत नाम भारती चत्र सम्पति. The meaning is the country which is north to the ocean and south to the Himalaya, that is called Bharata, where the main property is Bharati. Bharati means Saraswati or Jnana, wisdom. So now we will discuss this Bharata. There are 4 Bharatas in our Puranas. Who are they? Number 1 Bharata was the son of Dushmanta and Shakuntala. You must be knowing the story Dushmanta Shakuntala. And you will be still enlightened to know that Shakuntala was the daughter of Rishi Vishwamitra and Menka, the Apsara Menka. So Shakuntala being the daughter of Rishi Vishwamitra, the time of Vishwamitra was 13,500 before Christ. Then next, and the son of this Dushmanta and Shakuntala was Bharata. Okay. Now coming to the second Bharata, who is known as Bharata Muni, the father of Natya Veda, that is, dance and music, etc. He is the father of dance and music, popularly called as Bharata Muni. This Bharata Muni is dated at 6778 BC. On this date, this year, 6778 BC, he has compiled this Natya Veda, which is called as one Veda out of the 4 Upaveda. Now next comes Bharata, the brother of Ramachandra, Lord Ramachandra. He is dated at 5100 BC. And the last Bharata is the son of King Rishabha, who is dated at 3100 BC, which has been written in Mahabharata by Vyasadeva. Now you will be astonished how these things are dated. Here I will just divert and tell that now modern planetarium softwares are available. If you put it in a computer, if you want the sky map thousands of years ago or thousands of years from now, in future, then the sky map you can see in your computer screen. So, by utilizing this sky map, the date of Brahma Deva, Brahma is the creator of Veda. We will be discussing about, scientific heritage of India. The science in Veda will be the topic of our talk today. So, Brahma, we should date. By sky map software, because it is written in Mahabharata and many Puranas that Dhanishthadistada kale brahmana parikalpitam. Brahmadev has designed the first Panjika, calendar for India, exactly on 15,962. Because agriculture in India has been developed since 16,000 BC. So for agriculture, water is required, so monsoon is required. Normally monsoons comes after the summer solstice, that is Vishwa Sankranti. So this Dhanishta Distada Kale Brahmana Parikalpitam, when Dhanishta Nakshatra was having this summer scholastic within it, that means when summer scholastic comes, when Dhanishta Nakshatra is there in the sky, that period ranges from 16,000 to 15,000 BC. So on an average, Brahma has been dated at 16,000 BC because he has devised the first Panjika calendar. Calendar will indicate when there will be Sankranti, when there will be which month and when monsoon will come. So exactly from 15,962, the first calendar for India was started by Brahmadev. And Brahmadev, you know, was the first astronomer, rather astrologer, both astronomer cum astrologer in the world. Now, here, Bharata is neither named out in the name of Bharata. How it is? Because that sloka I have already told in Vishnu Purana, Uttaranjat Samudrasya Himadrishchaiva Dakhinan, Varsatad Bharata Namam Bharati Chatra Sampati. The property of India is Bharati, means Jnana. Bharati is the other name of Goddess Saraswati. His other name is Illa. So Bharata is named after Bharati or Saraswati only. That's why Bharati is called as Bharata Varsha or Ilavarta. I think I am clear to all of you. At the end, I will ask for a question. So Bharata is never named after any king, because any country is never named after any male person. We tell Bharat Mata, motherland. So never a country is named by the name of a male person. So our Bharata is named after goddess Bharati or Saraswati or Ila. That's why it is called as Bharata Varsha and Ila Varsha. I think I am clear to all of you. Now why this is? Because what is the, age of our Indian civilization, that we will discuss gradually. Now, if Bharata is the country of Saraswati, that means people are definitely intelligent, having lot of knowledge. It is proved how it is. After Second World War, one military doctor was doing post-mortem of the dead soldier in Second World War. He found, very meticulously observed, that the pineal gland of Indian is slightly bigger than the pineal gland of European and African. Please note it. This pineal gland is the center of knowledge, which is situated in between the eyebrow, which is called as Agya Chakra. So pineal gland is the storehouse of knowledge. The Indian pineal gland is, larger in size compared to Europeans, Africans, etc. Why? The reason is, by chanting Veda and Sanskrita mantra for lakhs of years, we will go to the age of our civilization. So for lakhs of years, Veda has been remembered. That's why it is called as Shruti. So for lakhs of years, people recited this Veda mantra. That's why the pineal gland has been expanded. This is not the only reason, sir. Because if you see the present day scenario, in USA alone, 70% of computer programmers are from India. 38% doctors in USA are from India. 36% of NASA scientists are from India. 34% in Microsoft, 28% in IBM, 17% in Intel, 13% in Xerox, 12% scientists. From all the scientists in America, 12% are from India. Not only that, in the recent cabinet of President Biden of America, the most powerful and rich country of the world, you must have noted 20 ministers, out of whom 13 are ladies, were from Indian origin. This indicates the pineal gland is of larger size and Indians are more intelligent than the rest of the world. I think you will agree with me. Swati Mohan is a scientist in NASA who was, designed and operated the Mars rover, in the recent expedition to this Mangaljak, Now we will discuss the next point, that is how old is Indian civilization. I have already told you, Gondwana land collided with the Eurasia plate 50 million years ago. That time, people were also living in India. That means India is 50 million years in age. But as per the description in Varaha Purana, the people in India, I mean Gondwana land in those days, were bare-faced. As described in our Dasavatar, Amina Avatar, Kachapa Avatar, Varaha Avatar, like that. So, Dasavatar, what it is? Dasavatar tells the evolution theory, which was devised by Darwin very recently, 15th century. But our sages were knowing this gradual development, Matsya Avatar, first life started in water, then it became, both water and, like amphibians. They become amphibians. Then came the first animal, that is Varaha, then Vamana, Narsingha, and so on, so on. So, Dasavatar is nothing but the, description of development of a human being by symbols. Matsyavatara, this all Dasavatara is nothing but our theory of evolution. So I told you Gondwana land was 50,000 years. Second is, without proof, scientists will not accept any, facts. So from the stone weapon study, it has been estimated that at least 136 million years ago, there were people in Asia and India. From the archaeological evidence, it has been proved that 7 lakhs years ago, India is populated and having civilization. From the human fossil available from Narmada Valley, it has been estimated that 5 lakhs years ago, everywhere there was a human settlement in India. So, Bharata cannot be named after this so-called Bharata, which is the conventional, notion of everybody. Because Bharata was a king. The oldest king was the son of Ushmanta and Sakuntala, which is 13,500 BC. It has been dated. Since India is the age of Indian civilization is in lakhs of years. So this, naming Bharata after Bharata is overruled. Before that, India was there, and India is named after Mahabharati, goddess Saraswati. Now, we will go to the gradual development of Indian civilization. Vedabiri Arya, you can search, he is now additional secretary in the defense finance in the government of India. He is, he PhD in Sanskrit, IRS. That IRS officer, by utilizing modern planetarium software, has observed that 75,000 years there was a volcano called as Toba in Sumatra. There was a severe volcanic eruption during 75,000 years ago, which has completely devastated Indian population, especially South Indian population. Subsequently, there has been archaeological excavation in Jwalapuram, Andhra Pradesh, Jwalapuram, where human remnants are available below the lava that has been, come from this tuba volcanic eruption. Below the lava, human remnants are there, and above the lava, that sediments, these human remnants are also there. It proves that 75,000 years back also there were human population. Now, coming to the second point, 75,000 years ago, entire India was covered with the lava of tuba volcanic eruption. It took about 30,000 years to cool down and became fit for agriculture. So, as I have told, Dhanishta Distada Kale Brahmana Parikalpitam, that indicates that 16,000 years ago, plant agriculture became very popular in India. Because first calendar was divided 15,962. So at least our civilization with a written document is available from 16,000 BC. Otherwise, how Brahma designed the calendar? Because Brahma is the creator of a Veda. So, after this 16,000 BC, by planetarium software, it has been calculated that exactly on 6777 Treta Yuga was over. How it can be concluded? How this can be concluded? Because it is told, it is written in Surya Siddhanta by Mayasura that when a yuga changes, there are 4 yuga, there is a Satya Yuga, then Treta, then Dwapara Yuga, then Kali Yuga. Now we are in Kali Yuga. When yuga changes, 5 planets like Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, etc., along with Sun, Moon, and Earth are in a line. Please note, when a yuga ends, a new yuga starts. It happens that 5 planets, our Mother Earth, along with Sun and Moon, they remain in one line. This has happened exactly on 6777 BC, when Satya Yuga ended. In this time, that Bharat Muni, I have told, he has compiled his Natya Shastra, Natya Veda, and Mayasura has compiled the Surya Siddhanta, the oldest astrological books of India. So after that, Treta Yuga came for 1200 years and it ended in 5577, which is the time of Lord Sri Ramachandra. Ramachandra was born on 5114. Then came Dwapara Yuga, which is for 2400 years, 2400 years. It ended in 3177 BC. That means from 3177 BC, Kali Yuga has started, and we are now continuing it. 5,000, more than 5,000 years have elapsed. And the time of Lord Krishna is estimated at 3102 is the exact date in which Krishna left this world to his heavenly abode. Okay. There are many proofs like that. Dr. Bhartaka, the greatest historian of India, has written a Vastava Ramayana. Vastava Ramayana tells that Indian civilization before 72,000 years ago was also there. And he has described in the Vastava Ramayana that 17,000 years ago, Vamana Avatara was there, who sent Bali to Patala. You will be astonished whether being a scientist, I am also a scientist. I never believe upon this, fairy tales of these Puranas. So actually, Bali went to Patala. What is Patala? Patala Lanka is South America. I will give further proof. I will give. South America was described as Patala in our Hindu scriptures, and America is described as America in our Hindu scripture. So, the mistake committed by Bali in torturing the earthly population, he was punished and sent by Vamana to Patala Lanka, that is South America. It is described in detail by Dr. Vartak, Vastava Ramayana. Now we will go to some foreign scientists. Dr. Alicio Neun and Dr. Dos Santos, both are nuclear physicists from the Federal University of Minas and Gerais, Brazil. You know that Brazil is a country in South America. These nuclear physicists have written that South Indians have settled in South America 11,000 years before arrival of European Columbus. When Columbus arrived in America, around 1500 CE, 1470 CE. So before that, 11,000 years before Columbus invented America, these South Indians have already settled in South America. This is another proof for the age-old civilization like our Indus Valley civilization. Next point is historian Prescott. You must be knowing a famous name, Prescott. He has written in his book that there is a Aztec community in Mexico. There is a tribe in Mexico called as Aztec. They have the belief that there was a man called as Quetzalcoatl from South India, who taught them civilization and agriculture. And the era of Quetzalcoatl was the golden era for Mexico, as per described in the script. He went home by some divine order. If you go through the history of the world, nowhere you will find a trace of it, except Valmiki Ramayana Uttarakhanda, where it is described that Asura Sumali of Sri Lanka was banished to Patala, means South America, by Vishnu Dev. And after many years, he was rescued by Vishnu and returned to Sri Lanka. This has been written by Prescott. Now, Dr. Venugopalachari, he has told that before a Jala Pralaya, that means the great deluge, you know, the entire India was smashed once in 75,000 years by volcanic eruption of Tuba, and second time by water submergence during 11,000 BC. So Venugopalachari, in his book Worldwide Hindu Culture, he has told that in 11,000 BC there was a great deluge, which is also accepted in Quran, which is called as Noah's deluge, Pralaya by Noah. So, what Venugopalachari told, that worldwide there was a Hindu culture flourishing. But after the great deluge in 11,000 before Christ, there was 12 Devasura Sangram. What is this? I am a scientist. I am thinking Deva and Asura. There was Devasura Sangram, means a fight between Deva, those who are worshipper, and Asura, those who are non-believers. I think the matter is clear now. Those people who are believer, they are called as Deva. Those who are non-believer, they never believe upon God, they are called as Asura. So there are fight between Deva and Asura 12 times to capture and rule the land. So lastly, after 12 fierce battles, Deva won, and the entire landscape from Pacific Ocean in the east up to Caspian Sea in the west was under the domain of the Devas. And these Asura, are called as Assyrians, were thrown away to the western side of the Caspian Sea. They include, who are those Assyrians which we normally call Asura? Assyrians are called as Asura. Then there was Datya. Datya means Dutch. Denmark are called as Datya. Then there are Dutch, which were called as German. German are called as Dutch. Then Danava. Danava means Denus. Palanco or Patalolankan, South American. And lastly, it was America, the inhabitant of America. That means, I told you, south of Himalaya and north of Indian Ocean, that space is called as India. But because Deva were ruling from Pacific Ocean in the east, Indian Ocean on the south, and on the west it is Caspian Sea, this vast landscape was under rule of Deva, and worldwide there was a Hindu culture. This has been written by Dr. Venugopalachari, the famous historian. Now, without wasting time further, Wadley, A.L.A. Waddell, Indian Aryans have established Aryan culture throughout the world from 11,000 BC. Now, in 11,000 BC, there was a great deluge. Entire India was submerged by water because the Satishara lake in Kashmir was broken by a meteor fall. The entire water has inundated India. At that time, as per the description in our Puranas, only Manu with Saptarishi and their family would survive. It has been described in Mina Avatar, the first incarnation of God. So the place where the boat of Manu reached the landmass is now called as Manali. In Himachal Pradesh, there is a Manali, na? This Manali is named after Manu because Manu's boat with Saptarishi and their family touched the landmass at that point where a temple is there, and it is called as Manali. And this Manu, because in 11,000 years due to great deluge, most of the population were smashed. Because we are all the descendant of Manu and Saptarshi, we are called as Manava or Manusya in Sanskrit or our Indian language, and we are called as man in English also. So man's word comes from Manu. Entire human civilization in the world are the descendant of Manu and Saptarishi. Now, I have already told you, Lord Rama was born exactly on 5114 BC. Lord Krishna left this world on 3102 BC. The date of birth of Lord Krishna is not known because he was born in a very bad condition inside a prison. So his Janma Jataka is not there, but it has been established by this planetarium software that Lord Krishna left this world on 3102 BC. After which our Veda Vyasa written Veda. So Veda was compiled by Veda Vyasa. It is not written by him. The origin of Veda is from Brahma, who is dated at 14,500 BC, or rather 15,000 BC. when agriculture started, and he has designed the calendar on 15,962 BC. So Brahma has created it. But Veda Vyasa, after 3,100, that means death of Lord Krishna, he has compiled 4 Vedas and 4 Upaveda. You know, 4 Vedas, they are Rug, Jadu, Sam, Atharva. And 4 Upavedas are also there. What is that? One is called as Natya Veda, second is called as Sthapatya Veda, third is called as Dhanur Veda, and fourth is called as our Ayurveda. Okay. So 4 Veda, 4 Upaveda, 8 Puranas, and 18 Upapurans, Brahma Sutra, were written by Vyasa. I am astonished how a man could do it. I am, devoted day and writing and writing. I have written so far 15 books only. How this Lord, that's why this Vyasa is regarded as the incarnation of Brahma. Because in the tenor of one lifespan, a man cannot do so much of work. 4 Veda, 4 Upaveda, 18 Purana, 18 Upapurana, Brahma Sutra. Where from he got time? Anyway. But he has great contribution to us. That's why, his birthday is still celebrated as Guru Purnima. On the day of Guru Purnima, this, Vyasadeva was born. Now, coming to this Sanatana Dharma, how old it is, not yet known. It is originated lakhs of years ago. But Dharma Shastra were compiled after 3000 BC. Now, when Buddhadeva was there, Buddhadeva left this world. You know Buddha Dharma? Buddhadeva left this world on 1864. Mahavir Jaina left this world on 1189. Jesus Krishna was born on 00 CE. But actually it is a mistake. If you know, entire world history is a mistake. That is called as one Aryan invasion to India. From Caspian Sea, Arya have come to this India, and in the Indus Valley civilization, they have educated everybody. They have created Veda, which is totally false propaganda by Britishers. This false propaganda is designed intentionally so that Indians will believe that Britishers are their forefathers, so they will respect it. But there is not a single proof of it. So entire history we are reading now is all based on falsified figures. You know, Dr. Vedabiri Arya, Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Defense Finance, he has 3 books. One is History of Ancient India from Manu to Mahabharata, and second is History of India from Mahabharata to till today, and the third is Dating of Christian Era. Yeshu Krishna was actually born 6060 BC. That means actually everybody is having the presumption that from the date of birth of Christ, this calendar is going on. But the actual date of birth of Jesus Christ was exactly on 6060 BC, which has been studied from the Venus tablet available in Rome. That is a rock edit called as Venus tablet of Rome. It has clearly, from that, it can be clearly understood that Jesus Christ was not born in a 00 CE, but he was born on 660 BC. That means the entire world history is falsified. This needs correction. Therefore, there is an organization called as Itihasa. And this Vedabiri Arya, Dr. Vedabiri Arya, the famous, Sanskrit knowing scientist, they are now pursuing vigorously for rewriting the entire history of India and the world. Anyway, now we will go to the next point, that is Sanatana Dharma. You know the oldest Dharma, I need not have to discuss about it. Swami Vivekananda therefore told that before Greek civilization was born, just note it, Swami Vivekananda word, I am just quoting. Before Greek civilization was born, Roman civilization was unknown. Europeans were naked without clothes. Indian culture was at its peak and was Vishwaguru. It was teaching the entire world. You must be knowing there were 1.5 dozen of university like Takshashila, Nalanda, Pushpagiri, Udantagiri, etc. And students starting from Japan, China, this Southeast Asian country, Middle East, Africa, everybody was coming to read there. They were taking a written test. By that time, students used to come by walk only. So taking so much of pain, they used to come and appear for the written test. If they fail, then they have to go back to their country by walking. And only selected people were admitted. So these universities were knowingly devastated by Britishers. You know, there was a Macaulay, because you know, we will go to scientific heritage, so a lot of things are there, I'm not discussing. All of a sudden, they have introduced English as our official language. So anybody who is educated in English, he will get a job in the various offices. So before that, they have done a survey. In South India, 100% literacy was there because Sanskrit was the mother tongue of India. In North India, 97% literacy was there. But all of a sudden, they have closed all these Gurukula, Rusikula and universities. And subsequently, you know, they have introduced this, English as the official language. So everybody in India became illiterate by this sudden decision of Macaulay. So now present day illiteracy in India is the gift of Britishers. Now, India was Vishwaguru for this reason. We were having 1.5 dozen universities. In my book, I have already written about it. There are a lot of scientists like, you know, Chanakya, Vishnugupta, etc., Brahmagupta, etc., who are teachers in these universities. As much as 64 topics are taught in this. You know, nowadays we have primary school, then high school, then college, then university. In those days, there was Gurukula, which is equivalent, means up to matriculation, it is called as Gurukula. Then called Risikula, which is college, etc., that's intermediate and graduation, etc. And for higher knowledge, there was universities for research, etc. Now, not only India was Vishwaguru teaching the entire world, India was Sone ki Chidiya also. World Economic Forum has appointed Henry Madison, a famous economist, to survey the economics of various countries of the world. By thorough research, he has told that up to 1500 CE, India was the richest country of the world. You may, from internet, you can confirm. India was the richest country of the world, and it has the capacity to feed the entire population of the world. 1500, note it, 1500 CE. And you must be knowing in 1526 Mughals came to India. Not only Mughals, you know, India, Sone ki Chidiya is now looted. We have become beggars and illiterate. Why? Alexander of Macedonia attacked India in 980 BCE. Muhammad bin Qasim of Saudi attacked in 712. Mahmud of Ghazni in 1002 for 17 times. This Mahmud of Ghazni has attacked India 17 times. What for? For looting property only. Gems, jewelry, etc. Genghis Khan of Mongolia attacked in 1221. Toimurlang of Timur attacked in 1398. Nadir Shah of Iran attacked in 1738. All have looted India. And subsequently, Muhammad Ghori, the last Hindu monarch of India, was Jayachandra for killing his brother, not brother, because his daughter was in love with Prithviraj. So he called Muhammad Ghori, who killed both Jayachandra and Prithviraj and became king of, established the Sultanate in Delhi in 1192. Then after Ghori, Dasavansa, there was Khiljis, then Tughlaqs, then Mughals in 1526, and Britishers in 1757. They won this Calcutta fort. They ruled up to 1947. So these buggers, from Alexander up to Genghis Khan, Toimurlang, they have attacked and looted. Now 700 from 1200. Muhammad Ghori from 1192 up to 1947, our independence. For 755 years we were under foreign rule. These people have looted India right and left. So Mackley, by introducing English as make us illiterate, and these Britishers and Mohammedans, they have looted everything and now became beggars. But not only that, Muslim rulers have burnt the entire library of Nalanda, Takshashila, etc., and they have ruined, because their dharma, religion, tells that Krishna was born 2000 years ago. As per Christian belief, world was not existing 4000 years back. Similarly, Muhammad was born on 14,069 CE. So this Muslim dharma, Islam dharma, from 1500 till now, how much? About 500, 700 years old. So they have the notion that there was no dharma, nothing, no world was there before that. So thinking that these are all useless things, they have burnt the entire library of all the university. Okay. So you will be astonished to know that the library of Nalanda, which was a 6-story building, burnt for 6 months attested. Just imagine how much treasures were there, how much books, manuscripts were there. Now, still, I have already described our Sanatana Dharma and Veda are timeless. So now we will go to the scientific technology. In Veda, it has greatest contribution, rather all-round contribution in every branch of science. Now let us first discuss, start from astronomy and geography. India was the birthplace of astronomy and astrology, inscribed in Rigveda, written in 3rd century BC. But the Veda was devised in 1405 by Brahma. The exact time of solar and lunar eclipse, diameter and circumference of Earth, gravitational force, distance of sun, moon, and planets were all known to our Veda. Vedic sages were aware that Earth moves around sun and moon moves around the Earth. Much earlier to modern geographer and Panchasagar is written in Veda. Recently, world population came to know that there are 7 continents and 5 oceans. But in Veda, Saptadipa, 7 continents, and Panchasagara, 5 oceans are described. Just think of 5,000 years ago, we are knowing Saptadipa and Panchasagara. Now, knowledge of cosmos and galaxy was familiar to our Vedic sages. How? In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is described that number of cosmos Brahmanda is there in the body of the Almighty God. Only 5 planets were known: Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn were known to West before 1781, before the discovery of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto by Herschel. The scientist Herschel has discovered Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. But Indians were aware of all the 9 planets 5,000 years ago, because in Mahabharata, Vedavyasa has written about all these three distant planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and given the name as Shweta, Syama, and Tibra. Bhaskaracharya of 12th century has computed the exact duration of rotation of planet Earth around the sun. Just imagine how advanced we were in Vedic era. Harivansam tells that a complete geographical survey of the entire world was done during the era of Vaivasvata Manu, demarcating all towns, villages, agri-land, and forest. I have told you, Vishwavyapi Arya Sanskruti, that means Aryan civilization was flourishing throughout the world. In those days, this detailed survey of entire world was done, which has been described in Harivansam. Brahmanda Purana describes correct and excellent two-dimensional map of the entire world. It is the Brahmanda Purana. Surya Siddhanta tells that spherical wooden models of Earth prepared with indication of equator and meridian were safely kept in wooden boxes. Vedic sages were aware of other planets with life, as revealed from Vishnu Purana, which tells that Earth is one of the many planets having life. Okay. Now we will go to mathematics. British historian Will Durant has written clearly that India is the mother of mathematical clue. We can go through it in the net. British historian Will Durant. Australian historian A.L. Bassam has written that world is indebted to ancient India for many mathematical knowledge. Addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, decimal number, logarithm, square root, cube root, algebra, geometry, trigonometry were first invented in India. Idea of zero was first conceived by Indian mathematician Brahmagupta. You know, without zero, nothing can happen. You know, nowadays we are calculating so much of things in decimal number. But the concept of zero was first given by Brahmagupta, the great Indian mathematician. Indian mathematician Bodhana has first deduced the value of pi as 3.14159. He is the first man to calculate the value of pi. Much before billion and trillions calculations of West, by invention of zero, I have told you now, by invention of zero by Brahmagupta, we have in our Indian calculation Ekadasha, Sata Sahasra, Ayuta Lakshya, Niyuta Koti, Brunda, Brunda, Sagara, Lakshya, Madhya Parartha. Parartha means 10 to the power 13. And calculation in Vedic mathematics is there up to Mohogam. Mohogam means 10 to the power 62. 10 to the power 62. Just imagine. It is called Vedic mathematics. I am happy that in revised education policy now Vedic mathematics will be taught. Aryabhatiam Artha of Aryabhata of 5th century in Siddhanta Shiromani. Aryabhatiam and Siddhanta Shiromani of Bhaskaracharya. Aryabhatiya is authored by Aryabhata and Siddhanta Shiromani by Bhaskaracharya of 12th century BC. Was the theories of algebra and trigonometry only. Bhaskaracharya in the 12th century devised the Rolle's theorem, differential calculus, Lilavati Sutra, which was reinvented by European in the 20th century to get credit. Mathematician Madhava in the 14th century invented non-linear equation, convergence, differentiation, iterative method, infinity series, etc. to solve non-linear equation. Mathematician Jashtadeva Yuktidas of the 14th century gave the world's first book on calculus. Yagya Mandapa, written by the mathematician Vaidhayana of first gave the Pythagoras theorem. You know Pythagoras theorem, a square of base plus square of perpendicular is equal to square of the diagonal. This is called as Pythagoras theorem. All of our feet. But in Yagya Mandapa, mathematician Bodhayana has gave it, but Pythagoras got the credit because we are not able to propagate our achievement because we are under we are Golam, we are under British. Now you can also experiment it. If a 8-digit number is multiplied by another 8-digit number in the computer, you cannot get result in one stroke. I am sure. If a 8-digit number is multiplied by another 8-digit number in the computer, you cannot get the result in one stroke. But in Vedic mathematics, it is very easy. That's why it is introduced in our revised curricula. Pancha Siddhantika of 5th century gives various geometrical theories in detail. Modern computer has given value of pi up to 16 places. In spite of so much of a development in computer science, modern computer can give value of a pi up to 16 decimals only. But our Rig Veda 10th chapter gives a value of a pi up to 28 digits. Just think of how great they were. Mathematician P. Malana of 12th century has written Sarasasi Sataka Chandra Sarasayaka, which means that if you put 2, check a chessboard. In first square you put 2, second square 4, third square 8, fourth square 16. Then the last square, how much will be the number? That is 2 to the power 62. So 2 to the power 63 has been calculated in Vedic mathematics. What a magic! Just think of how intelligent they were. Now we'll go to physics. In Vedic science, theory of relativity, atomic and molecular theory was written in the Vaisheshika Sutra of Maharshi Kanand of 6th century. Agni Purana of 3rd century BC states that atoms are the smallest particle measured as 1 millionth of a meter in dimension. Anu Siddhanta of Maharshi Gautama describes 3 models of a microscope to see atoms and molecules. Sayana Madhava has calculated the speed of light in Rigveda. Jojanam Sahasre Dve, Satabde Dve cha Jojane, Ekena Nimisartha Kramamana Namastute. Which is, the meaning is 3,25,940 kilometers was the speed of light calculated by Sayana Madhava. Aryabhatta told that day and night are due to rotation of the earth 1000 years before Copernicus of 15th century. Just imagine, Copernicus got the credit because he told that by rotation of earth day and night comes. But Aryabhatta in the 5th century has told it. Bhaskaracharya of 12th century told about gravitational force long before Isaac Newton. Indian scientist Satyendra Bose, contemporary of Isaac Newton, has invented boson particle. Indian scientist Jagdish Chandra Bose is the father of wireless communication in the world. Telecommunication, television, remote sensing, radar,
Laser imaging technology was first devised in India as revealed from Samarangana Sutradhara written in Sanskrit. What is, remote sensing? The details of a Mahabharata Yuddha is described by Sanjaya to Dhritarashtra in the palace. This is nothing but a remote sensing. Huh? First sloka of Mahabharata Gita. It tells that in those days, Mahabharata era also 3000 BC, remote sensing was there. Dharmakhetre, Kurukshetre, Samaveta, Yudhishthira, Mamaka, Pandava, Nikam, Kimam, Kurupati, Sanjaya. First sloka of Bhagavad Gita, where Dhritarashtra asked Sanjaya that what my kids are doing there. So this is by remote sensing only. Panchabhuta theory represent soil as solid, water as liquid, air as gaseous, fire as plasma, and sky as the nuclear state of a physical material. Just think of how old it is and how intelligent they are. Now we will go to chemistry and chemical engineering. Vedic chemist Nagarjuna was the father of evaporation and condensation reaction. Manufacturing of glass, perfume, colors, and sugars was first invented in India. Chandogya Upanishad tells that 5 metals, gold, silver, tin, lead, and iron, were first invented in India. Greek historians have written in 4th century BC that the Indians were capable to extract metals by melting of various metallic ores achieved from mining. Due to this technique, from 8th century BC to 17th century CE, metals were in use. Unless India knew extraction of metals from its ore, how these metallic coins were in use from 18th century. So India was very much conversant with, extraction of metals and minerals. Pillars of 5th century Gupta dynasty, Qutub Minar iron pillar standing from last 15 years has not been rusted because it is prepared out of powder technology, which is the recent technology in metallurgy. Powder technology was also known in 5th century Gupta dynasty period, where a iron pillar is still standing for 1500 years. Greek historian Herodotus of 5th century has written use of arrow, knives, swords, and armors made out of iron by Indian soldier. Before 1726, when diamond was discovered in Brazil, in Brazil, diamond was discovered in 1726. Before that, India was the only country in the world which was producing diamond and exporting it. But unfortunately, our Kohinoor Hira is in the crown of a British queen. Indian ladies even now harbor the largest quantity of gold reserve of the world. Out of the total gold reserve of the world, 11% are written in form of ornaments by the Indian ladies. The Brahmastra described in Mahabharata is believed to be the atomic weapon from the description of its after effects given in the text. Now we'll go discuss metallurgy and production technology. In Vedic India, perfumes, color, sugar, spice manufacturing technology was very popular in domestic and export market. It has been indicated by foreign traveler Megasthenes, Ptolemy, Phaxian, Zhuangzhang, Marco Polo, Al-Biruni, Ibn Battuta, etc. Spinning and weaving and coloring was first invented in India and were very much developed in Vedic India as described by various Purana.
Hello,
Bio-
sir, excuse me, sir. Sir. Sir,
Time is over.
yes, sir. Actually, from 2:30 we have another lecture lined up.
Acha.
Sorry, sir. Actually, it's
So-
very interesting lecture going on, but actually we have to stop it here. Sir, please conclude.
Okay.
So, in every sector of, because there is dot of time, in every sector of science, metallurgy, production engineering, shipbuilding, naval architecture, then, medicine and surgery, Ayurveda, the oldest book is Charaka Samhita. Similarly, this, surgery, Susruta Samhita. It is a textbook for last thousands of years. I think medicine and surgery is exclusively, medicines exclusively from herbal source has advised in India. So each and every sector, engineering, architecture, then even aeronautics and space engineering. Here I will tell just Yantra Sarvaswa of Bharadwaj, Vimana Chandrika of Narayana, Vyomojana Tantra of Shaunak, and Vyomojanaka of Dinanath are the valuable books on aeronautics. Following this text, there was a scientist called as Professor Shivashankar Talpade of Bombay, who first invented aeroplane in 1895 using the technology in Vaimaniko Shastra of Gautama. The aircraft flew for over 1500 feet, and he has written a book, Prachina Vimana Vidya, in Marathi also. But unfortunately, Professor Talpade died by the accident, and Britishers purchased the prototype of the aeroplane as well as all the literature from his son. Just developed it within 5 to 6 years. In 1902, this Wright brother got the credit of devising, flying vehicles. Then in sports, game, miscellaneous, everywhere, in every sector, India was next to none. Rather, it was the Vishwaguru, it was the Sone Ki Chidiya. It was the wisest and it was the wealthiest country of the world. This you should bear in the mind. So I have given also something for further reading. I have already told Dr. Bedabal Ajya, Dr. Bhartaka, Dr. Venugopalachari, Stephen Knapp, Ancient History of India by this, Vedaviri Arya, and e-books by Stephen Knapp. You can go through it, and anything, my number and everything, WhatsApp is available with, Professor Nitesh Purohit and Professor Ranjit Singh. For any doubt, anything, you can clarify either over phone or WhatsApp or by personal inquiry. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, sir. It was a very rich and purposeful deliberation, and our students definitely must have been benefited with your very rich content. And it was about this hour just to remind our students about the ancient scientific knowledge of India and Indian heritage. So, sir, thanks for giving us your precious time. So we, on behalf of the IIIT, I on behalf of IIIT express my gratitude for giving your time, and we shall remain indebted to you, sir, for precious time that you have given for our students. So thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ranjit, and thank you, Nitesh ji.
Thank you, sir.